Hello and welcome to another episode of Japanese Wrestling with the Maritime Warrior. I'm your host, the Maritime Warrior. Today I want to cover one of the most prestigious title belts in the history of Japanese pro wrestling, the All Japan Triple Crown Heavyweight Championship. The Triple Crown is made out of 3 different title belts. Now it is just one physical title belt, but back in the day there were 3 titles: the NWA International Heavyweight title, the NWA United National Heavyweight title, and the PWF Heavyweight title. Before we get into the formation of the All Japan Triple Crown Heavyweight title, we are going to talk about the 3 individual belts. The first belt we're going to talk about is the NWA International Heavyweight title. And in a lot of ways, this was Ricky Dozan's title in the early days. But how it got to Ricky Dozan, we got to go to 1957 when Luthez is crowned the first ever NWA International Heavyweight Champion, and he brings the belt to Japan in 1958. That is when Ricky Dozan would win the title, and he would hold the NWA International Heavyweight title from 1958 all the way to his death in 1963. Ricky Dozan would be stabbed at a nightclub by a Yakuza member, and he would die a week later from his injuries. The belt was then vacated, and his official record would be 1,936 days as the NWA International Heavyweight Champion. With Ricky Dozan dying, there was a need for a new ace. Who would that ace be? The 2 pupils of Ricky Dozan were Giant Baba and Antonio Inoki. The JWA ultimately chose Giant Baba, and he would be crowned the brand new NWA International Heavyweight Champion. This would be Baba's belt in his JWA days. The tension between Inoki and Baba got to a boiling point when Inoki actually left JWA to form Tokyo Pro Wrestling with Toyonobori. That company was very short-lived, and Inoki found himself back in the JWA, and this time they would do something interesting. Similar to Raw and SmackDown, they would have 2 separate TV shows, one featuring Baba and the NWA International Heavyweight title, and one featuring Inoki and a brand new title, the NWA United National Heavyweight title, the second piece of the All Japan Triple Crown. It seems there was always a jealousy by Inoki towards Baba, because Baba was the chosen one by the JWA. Both men would end up leaving the JWA, but the talent, the titles, and the TV station followed Baba to his brand new All Japan Pro Wrestling. As far as the United National Heavyweight title, that became Seiji Sakaguchi's belt for a while, but it would eventually be almost retired for a long time. In 1972, Giant Baba creates All Japan Pro Wrestling. In 1973, he creates the 3rd piece of the Triple Crown, the PWF Heavyweight title. This would be the belt that Baba popularized in the 1970s. The NWA International Heavyweight title at this point is in the possession of Kentaro Oki. He was the final champion when the JWA closed its doors for good. In 1981, that belt would be vacated and would be brought into All Japan Pro Wrestling, where Dory Funk Jr. would win the title. By the mid-80s, this was Jumbo Tsuruda's belt. Tsuruda's first reign as International Heavyweight Champion would be his longest, holding the title for 1,065 days. The NWA United National Heavyweight Championship would actually make its debut in 1976, a few years before the International Heavyweight title, and it would also be Jumbo Tsuruda who would be the man with that belt. The United National Heavyweight title would find its way around the waist of David Von Erich, but 7 days later it would be vacated because David Von Erich would tragically pass away in a Tokyo hotel. 13 days after it was vacated, probably the most well-known United National Heavyweight Champion would be crowned. This would be Genichiro Tenryu. From 1984 to 1988, Tenryu would have 2 reigns. He would not drop the title to anybody. He would vacate it his first time and just win it back, but this was his title belt. On March 9th, 1988, Tenryu would actually win the PWF title. So this was the first step in unifying the titles, Tenryu unifying the PWF and the United National Heavyweight title. The PWF title, probably the most important champion it had in the 80s, was Riki Choshu, who had defected from New Japan. He was the PWF champion for almost a year, 357 days. So back to the unification of the PWF and the United National titles, Tenryu would actually lose those titles to Stan Hansen. So at this point, Jumbo Tsuruta is the NWA International Heavyweight Champion, and Stan Hansen is in possession of both the PWF Heavyweight title and the NWA United National Heavyweight title. Now they're on a collision course to unify all three belts to create the All Japan Triple Crown Heavyweight Championship. That match would happen on April 18th, 1989, and Jumbo Tsuruta would be crowned the first ever Triple Crown champion. His reign would be short-lived, only lasting 48 days before losing the title to his rival, Genichiro Tenryu. Tenryu would have the title for 128 days and have 2 successful title defenses, before dropping the title back to Jumbo Tsuruta. 2 very interesting things happened during Jumbo Tsuruta's second reign with the Triple Crown title. 2 things that would change the course of All Japan history. The first thing that would happen is Tsuruta would defend the Triple Crown title against Genichiro Tenryu on April 19th, 1990. This would be the very last time these two would face off in a match. A few days after Tsuruta successfully defended the Triple Crown title against Tenryu, it would be announced that Tenryu was leaving All Japan and he would start SWS, Super World Sports. With one of the headline talents leaving in Tenryu, Baba needed a new main event star, and he would find it in Tiger Mask 2, when Tiger Mask 2 would unmask to reveal Mitsuharu Misawa. Misawa would be granted a singles match, non-titled, versus Jumbo Tsuruta in June 1990, and this would be his launching pad to being the future ace of All Japan, as he would pin the Triple Crown champion Jumbo Tsuruta to win the match. Between 1990 and 1992, you would see such Triple Crown champions as Terry Gordy, Stan Hansen, and Jumbo Tsuruta, until Mitsuharu Misawa would win the title on August 22, 1992, to be crowned the Triple Crown champion and start his reign as the ace of All Japan. During Misawa's first run as Triple Crown champion, he would hold the title for 705 days and have 7 successful title defenses before dropping the title to Dr. Death Steve Williams. One of Misawa's big challengers is Toshiaki Kawada, a former tag team partner of his, who could never get a singles win over Misawa. But Kawada would win the Triple Crown title by defeating Dr. Death Steve Williams. Kawada would only have the title for 133 days, only have 1 title defense, and it would be a 60-minute time limit draw against Kenta Kobashi, and he would drop the title to Stan Hansen, who would just then turn around and drop the title to Mitsuharu Misawa. At this point in time, the top 4 stars of All Japan are known as the 4 Pillars of Heaven. That is Mitsuharu Misawa, Toshiaki Kawada, Akira Taue, and Kenta Kobashi. Misawa's second reign with the Triple Crown title would end at the hands of Akira Taue. And not long after that, Kenta Kobashi would win his first Triple Crown title. So all 4 Pillars of Heaven had claimed the All Japan Triple Crown Heavyweight title. Kobashi, after 180 days as champion, would drop the title to the ace Mitsuharu Misawa. After 8 title defenses and 466 days as champion, Mitsuharu Misawa would defend his title at the Tokyo Dome against old rival Toshiaki Kawada. This would be Toshiaki Kawada's finest moment, as he would pin Mitsuharu Misawa to become a 2-time All Japan Triple Crown Heavyweight Champion. Unfortunately, Kawada would drop the title 42 days later during his first title defense to Kenta Kobashi. Kobashi would then drop the title back to Misawa, and then Misawa would drop the title back to Toshiaki Kawada. This Kawada-Misawa match happened in January 1999, and this would be the very last Triple Crown title match that Giant Baba would ever see. In January 1999, Giant Baba would pass away. The belt would actually be vacated right after the match, as Kawada had broken his arm during the match. The vacant belt would eventually be won by Vader, making his return to Japan after many years in the WWF. This run for Vader would really revitalize his career, winning the Triple Crown twice, first losing it to Mitsuharu Misawa, then winning it back from him, and then finally losing the title to Kenta Kobashi. During these 4 title reigns, there was a lot of tension between Misawa, who was now the president, and the owner's wife. So Baba died, Mrs. Baba was now in charge and the owner of the company. It got so bad that on June 16th, 2000, Kobashi would vacate the All Japan Triple Crown title, and every other champion would vacate their title, and they would leave All Japan with Mitsuharu Misawa to form Pro Wrestling Noah. The only people that stayed were Toshiaki Kawada and Masanobu Fuchi. This would be known as the Noah Exodus. A lot of people thought that was it for All Japan. They're not going to be able to survive. But Mrs. Baba soldiered on. She made contact with someone that Giant Baba said he would never bring back to All Japan, and that would be Genichiro Tenryu, coming home for the first time since April 1990. On October 28, 2000, Genichiro Tenryu would win the vacant All Japan Triple Crown Heavyweight title for the first time since 1989, becoming a two-time champion, defeating his old protege Toshiaki Kawada to win the belt. Mrs. Baba at this time also sought the help of New Japan Pro Wrestling. New Japan would send one of their biggest stars, Keiji Muto, and Keiji Muto would be the man to beat Genichiro Tenryu for the Triple Crown title. Strange times indeed, a New Japan contracted wrestler as the All Japan Triple Crown Heavyweight Champion. That would have never happened if Giant Baba didn't pass away. Toshiaki Kawada would then win the title, but only hold it for 32 days before vacating it, and the vacant title was then won by Genichiro Tenryu, who would have his third and final run with the Triple Crown belt. Keiji Muto's alter ego, the Great Muta, would win the Triple Crown title before dropping it to another New Japan superstar, now running his own promotion known as Pro Wrestling 01, Shinya Hashimoto. During this time period, Keiji Muto would actually leave New Japan Pro Wrestling and sign with All Japan Pro Wrestling, becoming their president in the process. Shinya Hashimoto would end up vacating the title, and Toshiaki Kawada would win the vacant Triple Crown title. He would finally have his long reign with multiple title defenses that he always wanted, holding the title for 529 days and having 10 successful title defenses, even defending the title against Mick Foley at a Hustle event. Kawada would then drop the title to Satoshi Kojima, another New Japan wrestler that left New Japan to sign with All Japan Pro Wrestling. Kojima would be champion for 502 days before dropping the title to Taiyo Kea. Kea would drop the title to Minoru Suzuki before he would drop the title to Kensuke Sasaki. Both freelancers at this point in time, both had lengthy reigns with the belt, but that would lead into the future ace of All Japan, Suwama. Suwama's first reign with the Triple Crown title was 152 days. He defeated Kensuke Sasaki, but would drop the title to the Great Muta. Suwama would eventually win back the Triple Crown title, but in between both his reigns, there would be different champions. Like I said, the Great Muta won the title. Yoshihiro Takayama, Satoshi Kojima, Ryota Hama, and Minoru Suzuki would all win the title. Ryota Hama is an interesting one. He only held the title for 42 days, but he is a former sumo wrestler, now wrestling for Big Japan Pro Wrestling. Suwama's second reign would be a little bit more lengthier and have more title defenses, 420 days and 5 successful title defenses. He would drop the title to a returning face to All Japan in Jun Akiyama. Akiyama and Go Shiozaki and a few of the Pro Wrestling Noah wrestlers had left Noah to join All Japan Pro Wrestling. Akiyama had started his career in 1992 in All Japan Pro Wrestling, but he left with Misawa to form Pro Wrestling Noah. He never got the chance to be Triple Crown champion in his first run, but now he had the chance to hold the 3 belts. He would hold the Triple Crown title for 308 days before dropping the title to Masakatsu Funaki. Masakatsu Funaki was one of the founders of Pancrase in the 1990s. Now he's here in All Japan, and now he's the Triple Crown champion, and he would hold that title for 203 days. Before dropping the title to Suwama, Suwama would hold the title for 224 days before dropping the title to sumo legend Akebono. Akebono would be champion for 215 days before vacating the title. The vacant title was then won by Takao Omori, but he would only be champion for 14 days before he would drop it to Suwama. Suwama would have the title another short reign, 28 days. Joe Doring would win the title for 160 days before former Noah GHC heavyweight champion Go Shiozaki would win the title, hold it for 138 days. After Go Shiozaki's reign, we would have 3 title reigns: Akebono, Jun Akiyama, and Suwama. Suwama would only be champion for 10 days before vacating the title, and we would have a new ace of All Japan in Kento Miyahara. Kento Miyahara would win the vacant title on February 12, 2016. Since 2016, we've had a cast of characters hold the Triple Crown title. Some made their names in other promotions, the likes of Shuji Ishikawa and Zeus. We've seen Suwama and Joe Doring win back the Triple Crown title. We've seen youngsters like Jake Lee and Yuma Aoyagi win the Triple Crown title. We've seen legendary New Japan wrestler Yuji Nagata win the Triple Crown title. As of this recording, Kento Miyahara held the Triple Crown title 6 times. And the current Triple Crown heavyweight champion as of this recording is former GHC heavyweight champion Katsuhiko Nakajima. And that is a brief history of the All Japan Triple Crown heavyweight championship. From the JWA to All Japan Pro Wrestling, it is one of the most important titles in wrestling history. Now, is it as prestigious as it was in the 80s and 90s? No. I think All Japan is a smaller promotion now. I think New Japan is the #1 Japanese wrestling promotion in the world right now. But All Japan is still around. It is still having shows. It is still doing well. The 3 physical belts are no longer part of the Triple Crown. Now they have one singular belt. The story there is Mrs. Baba wanted the International, United National, and PWF titles returned to her. So they had to make one All Japan Triple Crown heavyweight belt. So no longer 3 belts, but it's still called the Triple Crown. And with that, I'm going to end this video here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you have some free time, go watch some old 90s All Japan Pro Wrestling. Misawa versus Kawada is never a bad match. So thank you for listening, and have a great day.